right. They're taking it nice and easy for the rolling start as they come up towards the line. Once they get the flag, they'll be going to full throttle. Over the line. The flag waves, they're underway now. Remember, these are not hugely powerful. These are 500cc motorbike engine machines in light single-seaters. That's a good start by the pole man. Tom Waterfield has got away well. That was a bad start by Michael Russell, funnily enough. Number 66, he's dropped back several places.
Yeah, he's gone back 2 or 3 places, but certainly Tom Waterfield did everything right from the outside the front row. Harry Painter in his Cooper tucks in behind, but already Waterfield getting a bit of air between.
George Shackleton, look, he's moved up very quickly.
He had trouble before. He qualified only 8th, but he certainly, we knew beforehand he'd be quick, but he's got past Harry Painter and is not hanging around his Cooper 11.
George is a very rapid racer in the 500s, and he's up into that second place. I noticed his rear engine bodywork is not on there anymore. It flew off in qualifying, and it made him have to pull off at one stage, but he's still battling for second.
Is Harry Painter taking a very, very wide line through St Mary's, and hopefully has got around the corner, because it's a corner that keeps on turning. A lot of drivers run a little wide, get a wheel on the grass and go round, but it seems all is okay. Fantastic shot. Just echoing, Ben, how small these cars are.
Yeah, they are tiny, aren't they? But the great thing is, it's a bit like riding motorbikes around Goodwood. You can get a few more alongside each other. Not quite as many as the motorbikes, but it does make for overtaking perhaps a little more possible when you've got that narrower car. One of the things about modern Formula One is they're so wide, when you take them to a track like Monaco, they can't overtake each other.
So wide and so long. We've got a little bit of a grass visitation now. I'm trying to work out which that one is. Is that Simon Hughes? No, his car is white. Oh, it's JB Jones in the Cousy. Look out for that one. The little teeth and eyes painted on that. Yeah. Certainly George Shackleton, having got into second place, is going very well indeed, and looking for others making moves up the order. Smith Buckler going very well. That's car number 9, Richard de la Roche.
Yeah,
it's one of the older cars.
Simon Frost, who's battling away there, managing to get into that position. As you say, Richard de la Roche, part of the family that has done so well here. He's the father of Peter, who's taken various victories here.
By the handful. So at the end of the opening lap, pole starter Tom Waterfield leading by 4 seconds. 4 seconds. Well, we knew he was way ahead in practice, but that was in very wet conditions. George Shackleton from 8th up to 2nd. That's very good. He's got ahead of Harry Painter, who's gone from 2nd back to 3rd. And 4th at the end of the opening lap, Alex Wilson in his Cooper.
See, there's a yellow flag. That's why we've got a yellow flag, because we've got a car off. And driver seems to be okay, just popping out. And is that Chris Wilson? Just trying to spot exactly that number, because it's just hidden a little bit.
Marginally obscured.
Yeah, marginally obscured. But let's take a look and see what happened here. So this was coming out of the chicane. Oh no, it's 20. Yeah, I think it's 29, isn't it? So it is Chris Wilson. He's just lost it on the exit.
Yeah, it's just marginal error, just getting the back wheel onto that wet grass. Round he goes, and he's parked it on the opposite side of the track, on the left hand from the driver's point of view. He's out of the car. Right, this is a battle for second place. George Shackleton, Harry Painter. Harry having a little bit of a twitch on a bit of track that looked dry and clearly didn't have as much. And we're hearing the rain is picking up, but as I look to my left from the commentary position, there is sun on the South Downs, so it's going to be coming in and out through the course of the morning.
What fun. Hands up. What was that about? He's saying, what's going on, almost. Yeah, we've still got some good... we've got safety car, right. Okay, so the safety car has been called out. They are getting the safety car sign. That may well have been what that was about. And I think that as a result of Chris Wilson going off, they probably have brought the safety car out to be able to recover that car safely. So everyone's going to have to drop behind. Yeah, there we are. So this is Chris Wilson. This is actually a key car. It's a shame it's gone off, because this is one of the very earliest Coopers of the 500s cc brand, and they've managed to get this car back together again. It's been restored quite recently, this car, but it's a 1948 machine that went to New Zealand and was raced in New Zealand for many, many years, and not that long ago it's been brought back to the UK. It's been restored, and I do feel for Chris Wilson, who's a good 500cc racer. He had a second place here in the Don Parker. He was 3rd in the Earl of March not so long ago. He's had other victories here at Goodwood, so he'll be a bit frustrated to have gone up.
I just heard a sound beneath us. Harry Painter's come out of... He's just been demoted from 3rd place. I was desperately trying to see if I could see from the commentary position, but well done to the cameras for picking it up. So while the safety car is waiting to pick up the leaders, just remember, at the end of the opening lap, Tom Waterfield from pole was leading by 4 seconds. Now the rain is really, really coming down. But then he's listed as 8 seconds clear from George Shackleton. But we can see George Shackleton in number 23 is closed right up behind the safety car. In 3rd place, we've got Alex Wilson, the white car with the red-yellow cross of Guernsey on its nose, is sitting there. They'll be waiting, but it's good to see that already Chris Wilson's car has been removed from where it had been parked on the exit of the chicane on the other side of the track, the grandstand side of the track. But look, we're talking about the rain, we're getting flurries of rain. The car's around the back of the circuit approaching St Mary's. It's bright over there. There will be a little bit of spray, but it appears to have stopped raining at that part.
It's funny, isn't it? Alex Wilson, who, as you said, is now up into 3rd place. He's busy wiping his helmet at the moment. He's really trying to get some vision. It's not easy with that very light rain. And actually, we were speaking to Keith Arles a minute ago about when he was out in qualifying the other day. On Friday, it was even wetter, but he said the spray made it almost impossible to see where you were going. I mean, This is slightly different rain we've got now. Less water on track, but even so.
Yes, I think it's safe to say these 500cc cars with their very narrow tyres wouldn't put up as much spray as the unlimited sports cars, the Can-Am cars, if you will, that he was out there competing with. But right now, if you didn't remember to do that, well, there we are, another part of the track, and it is raining properly. Sunshine in the background, illuminating the umbrellas, but for the drivers, this is the trickiest of tricky. If they went on a full wet track, they'd know what they're doing. And with this sunshine also onto a greasy wet visor, visibility is going to be very, very difficult at certain points on the circuit.
Well, we know that Tom Waterfield, who was on pole and has got the lead of this race, does enjoy driving in the wet, and he said it's just something he enjoys doing. We shall have to see. But this section, you can see this section, there's still a few dry patches, in fact, into the last corner down into Woodcote. But when they come up towards Madgwick, the first corner, it's going to be very, very wet up there. So, as you said, it's a bizarre mix at the moment. But Tom Waterfield's already going to be opening it up, of course. 2nd place now is George Shackleton, having made that excellent getaway earlier on. George Shackleton up into 2nd place. Alex Wilson in 3rd place. So here we go, back to racing once again, and it's a good getaway for our race leader. Tom Waterfield has opened up the gap already. Let's see if there are going to be some more fights. And there's a bit of sunshine there, but let's just see how slippery it is, how cautious they have to be. Everybody dealing with it pretty well at this point. Villaroche just coming through, and then there's the rain. Right, so it's right on the exit of Madgwick. It's bizarre, isn't it?
Well, Madgwick's very much a 2-part corner. It really is a 2-part corner now. Dry on the way into the first apex. As you look at the second apex and think, I'll run wide, do not run wide because you're going to be on the grass. Very, very tricky. Dual tunnel leaves falling in front of the camera, so a little bit of wind blowing through as well. But so far, so good for the field. But certainly Tom Waterfield is likely to escape because when the track was dry at the start, he very quickly put 4 seconds between him and the best of the rest. At that point, it was Harry Painter. Then George Shackleton moved up into 2nd place. Of course, we've had the field closed up by the safety car, but no one is told that Tom Waterfield to hang back. Out of St Mary's, up to Labant he goes, but he'll be just trying to use every part of his body to get a feel for how much grip there is, or more to the point, how much there isn't when he goes into Labant.
Absolutely right. Tom Waterfield's driving beautifully in these conditions, I have to say. He's definitely setting the fastest sector times and pulling away a little bit at the moment, again out in front. He just has a technique in the wet that makes it look very, very good indeed. Number 3 just coming through, that's running down in 13th place, slightly bigger machine. That's the JBS Norton. Actually, that started down towards the back of the field, but it's doing a little better now. And everybody staying on track for now, which is not easy in these conditions at all. But hopefully they can all hold it together. Now, we've got a little bit of a battle. This is for 3rd place. You still got Alex Wilson in 3rd place at the moment, being chased down a little bit more by Andrew Turner. Andrew in another of the Coopers. This is also the Cooper as our race leader comes over the line. Tom Waterfield in the Cooper Norton Mark 8. It's a very unique sound as well. When you're here at Goodwood and you're hearing this, it's a very deep, rich sound from these 500cc engines.
Far deeper than you'd think. You look at the specification of the engine, but hold on, it's a single cylinder. It's more likely to be deep, punchy through. Now, this is a great little battle between Wilson and Turner, but as, again, they're on the dry part of the track, turning into Madgwick, still dry, but they knew from last time around the rain is falling in the second part. We're looking at that now. George Shackleton being a little bit more cautious, not going quite out towards the edge as well he can. But A little bit of rain on the exit of Madgwick, an awful lot of the approach to St Mary's, possibly the trickiest part of the track, just where you really don't want it. But wow, hanging the tail out, our race leader Tom Waterfield, he said he loved the rain. I wondered if that was bluff. Clearly it isn't. He's absolutely making that car work so well for him.
Beautiful control. I mean, they run almost on motorbike tyres. They are so narrow, those tyres, so there's very, very little grip. But those shots, those pictures there's our third place man, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's Wilson. Alex Wilson has just pulled off, so don't know what's remiss, but
something's dangling down at the back. Oh, it's the chain. I think it's the chain that's come off. That's the drive chain, I think, that's come off.
I think that's a very good spot. So imagine that you're just approaching Ford Water and suddenly you have no more drive. You want a bit of drive because you need to get around the corner. But good spot from Ben. Really unfortunate there. One of the better looking cars in the field there, Alex Wilson's Cooper, but it's not going anywhere right now. So right in the mix there he was, but now at the side of the track. By the way, the lead for Tom Waterfield after that first flying lap on the restart, 8 seconds. Wow.
That's amazing. Yeah, so we're talking about they run motorbike engines, so that's why, you know, you're running a drivetrain just like a motorbike, and we do have safety car back out once again. No surprise. And in some ways, I feel, you know, there's a bit of relief for them because some of those parts of the track now are so slippery.
Yeah, and I mean, anytime you have a car parked by the side of the track, it's a potential danger. But when you're on the outside at the approach to St Mary's and Ford Water, quite a fearsome corner in the dry, but it's so wet. But here we are on the start finish straight. Bright sunshine, dry out. You're going to get wet when you get to the second part of Madgwick, but that also emphasises the lead that Tom Waterfield has almost the entirety of the start finish race. Here comes George Shackleton. Just see what the increment, 15, nearly 16 seconds down in second place. Of course, that would close up behind the safety car. Car number 86 is next in line, the yellow and blue Cooper of Andrew Turner. And this high up shot from the person who's probably closest to the weather, up on the enormously high cherry picker, looking down over Woodcote, the circuit. And it's what's beyond. It's the rain pouring down beyond where we can see the trees in the background. That's St Mary's and Ford Water, and those are the corners where the rain is absolutely the heaviest. There is the person who deserves at least 2 Mars bars with their coffee.
Indeed, thank you so much to our camera guys, doing a fantastic look at the height up there and in the rain. That is not easy, doing that all day long. Fantastic job, and thanks to all of our camera crews for putting it out when this kind of weather. I mean, it's just, this isn't going to last long, thankfully. I don't think, anyway. Hopefully, it's not going to last too long. We've still got a bit of blue sky in certain parts around us, but it's dark in other parts, and the rain down at that end is massive.
Also got to think about people getting out of the car parks later today. There's a little, the Heitzer.
That's the first of them, that's not a Cooper. So we've got a Cooper Cars 1, 2, 3 at the moment. He's running in 4th place. So the fastest of the cars, look at that. You can see that Turner's saying, look, we should barrel out of this race. He's basically saying, we can't continue, Andrew Turner. He was waving his arms as if to say, no, come on. And I do understand, because I
think he was just doing breaststroke, Ben.
Do you reckon? Is that what he was doing? Okay. It certainly gave me the feeling that he doesn't want to carry on much longer. That section is so wet.
But even Lavant, two laps ago, was only marginally wet, is now properly wet. But the worst bit is just before St Mary's. You could say going into the deep end now, into the water splash. Who was that? Car number 55, I think it was. It might be... it was 53. It was the Erskine Star Ride with Simon Deadman, who's made decent progress in this race.
Yeah, and we can't even spot them now. Look at this. I mean, you know, trying to identify them through the sort of misty rain.
But just refer back to what Keith Arles was saying when he came up to the commentary box. He said, I looked at the replay, you know, on TV, it seemed wet, but for us on the track, it was the hanging spray that's coming back. And right now, these cars, such small wheels, they won't really be aquaplaning, but that rain, the way it's bouncing back off the track, that shows you just how hard it's coming down.
And when you're in a 500cc single-seater with no windscreen, and you sit high in the car, you've got no seat belts, of course, because they didn't exist in those days, and you are just getting whacked by the rain, basically. Some of them sit very high, as you can see. So you see a lot of the drivers' head, the shoulders, their arms, which, of course, in modern Formula 1 cars, you barely see at all. And let's just have a little look here at what's been going on.
Well, let's hope they've got holes in the floor, because the rain may need to be dropped out of the bottom of their bathtubs. But here's our race leader, Tom Waterfield, named for the occasion. Every time he builds a lead, the safety car comes out, but with good reason, because we need Alex Wilson's Cooper to be cleared from just before St Mary's. George Shackleton. But again, it really is a circuit of 2 halves. It is dry here on the start-finish straight.
There's a gentleman who's enjoying the view, and he's got the proper umbrella experience it. Yeah, perfect size. Look at that.
And he's listening, and he's paid his 2 bob, but he's not going to relinquish that deck chair. But that is the true spirit. And we had horrendous rain on Thursday, on the Saturday, and on Friday, but people were still having great fun. A fair few shoes, I think, have been popped in the bin when people left the circuit, never to be worn again because of the mud. But right now, it's going to blow in, it's going to blow out, but the weather forecast said light rain. That looked like heavy rain, but luckily it was, I think, it's ebbing. But Ben, whatever you do, do not look over your left shoulder towards Lavant, because it's completely black over that part of the circuit.
Yeah, it's certainly worrying some of them. It's a bit of a shame that this race for them has gone so quiet for a while and in such difficult conditions. 500cc club that are involved in this championship for historic races, they really do a lot of stuff. They do a lot of hill climbs as well. There's a couple more to come this year. They're going to Shelsley in September, middle of September. They go to Prescott in early October, the 5th of October. They'll be competing up the Prescott hill climb. This is number 36 is one of those that's had enough by the looks of things. He's pulled off. That's Kerry Horan in another of the less common ones. That's the Trenberth with the Vincent Power. And it's actually an Australian 500cc. So it's quite a rare one. But as I was saying, there are some other events still to go on. There's another sprint event actually at Castle Combe later in October.
Well, the flag is red, and I think that's totally the sensible decision. I mean, we have just over 4 minutes left on the clock. Just a lovely little story about the car splashing its way around in 3rd place. Andrew Turner, his father John, bought that yellow and blue Cooper back in 1967 for £260. In fact, it was raced, and he raced it all the way through until he died, a year before he died last year at the age of 84. So talk about getting something in the family and keeping it. But right now the family will take it back, bring it out, dry it down, and enjoy the rest of the day. But alas, you know, that was a sensible decision.
I do. I think it's a sensible decision. I totally understand it. But I feel sorry for them because they qualified Friday. They had a day off yesterday, which is lovely. They can enjoy Goodwood. But they were looking forward to their race this morning. And we weren't expecting this kind of rain. And suddenly, look, they've had a much shortened race, and they've got absolutely drenched. And of course, tidying these cars up is not going to be that easy. Mind you, my friend was telling me these engines chuck out quite a lot of oil sometimes, so that will hopefully protect them from the rain a bit.
They're light enough to be popped up onto their sides to tip the water out from the cockpits. But yeah, a real shame. But Tom Waterfield, bear in mind, the track was all but dry when the race started. A little blurry when the Myers-Banks buggies were out, but
those buggies were always lucky. Those buggies were always going out here, and it's pretty much dry. We had a little bit of rain at the end of the first run on Friday, but the buggies seem to be able to get out here in the dry. But these poor 500s, they're in the wet both times they've been out.
And this low shot is fantastic. This is on the inside of Woodcote, and just you can imagine how slippery it is on that slick heading.
So this will be a result. The 5 laps of racing is what's counted as the result, and it is. There's no real doubt about the winner because Tom Waterfield, who started from pole position with a major advantage in qualifying, he certainly deserved that victory.